Arena sets are rotating. Rise of Shadows will still be in the pool, but the old sets will be switching up. On June 3rd, we'll now have the following sets in Arena: Basic and Classic, Goblins vs. Gnomes, the Grand Tournament, the Boomsday Project, and One Night in Karazhan. In our last Arena video, we talked about strong class cards coming into the pool. Let's look at the impact of neutrals and the themes emerging out of this new rotation. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to the Tempo Storm YouTube channel to keep up to date with our Hearthstone content. Now, let's begin. The early game curve will not change much. 2-drops will be abundant with GVG, and hitting 6 2-drops will be the norm when drafting. There are several good 2-drops returning. Flame Juggler is back and will decide games based on its early ping. Mech Warper will also decide games with a plethora of mechs coming in from GVG and Boomsday. For 3-drops, a bunch of 3/4s are rotating out with Spider Tank and Augmented Elic coming back. Ogre Brute will be the lone 3-mana 4/4 with a noticeable downside. In past metas, you could just ignore the Ogre and hope it misses. This plan will have mixed results now, with certain classes having regular access to buffs. Both Spring Rocket and Argent Horse Rider are making a return, making 3/2s even worse in the new rotation. The 4-drop slot sees little difference. Piloted Shredder is the popular card that most players will likely draft, so you should aim for other 4-drops that have at least 5 health. Minions that can't value trade a Piloted Shredder will decline in value. The 5-drop slot will be better, with Pit Fighter coming back, but that's the only notable 5-drop. It'll be a very good minion, as it won't die to Fireland's Portal when played beyond turn 7. Late-game minions are quite a sad sight. North Sea Kraken is the only late-game minion that offers tempo and value. There just aren't any 7 and 8 mana neutral minions that you're happy drafting. Of course we want a Dr. Boom in every deck, but legendary cards appear quite infrequently in drafts. Speaking of the Mad Genius, let's talk about the theme for this new set. In Boomsday, we predicted mech synergy would play a role in the meta, and it wasn't the case back then. With GVG back in as well, a true mech meta will be the norm for this rotation. Just look at the curve minions we already mentioned: Mech Warper, Spider Tank, Piloted Shredder, and Mechanical Yeti. These are all good curve cards, and they're all common. Class cards like Snow Chugger and Shielded Minibot are also very good targets for mech synergy. Bronze Gatekeeper was fairly innocuous, but now you have the potential to coin Mech Warper into Bronze Gatekeeper for an explosive start. We still don't recommend drafting bad cards such as Explodinator or Faithful Lumi, as their quality is just a bit too low that even if the synergy activates, you aren't likely gaining that much of a swing. Of course, because they'll likely be in the worst bucket, these cards are certainly a little bit more draftable than before. All in all, with mech synergy on the rise, you should be expecting explosive openers early and prioritize early game initiative. Let's talk about cards with initiative. In the past, neutral minions that impacted the board like Dragonmaw Scorcher simply didn't exist. In GVG, Bomb Lobber and Mad Bomber were the only neutral minions that could immediately react to the board. In Grand Tournament, the answers were even less common. Argent Horse Rider was the go-to minion for small removal, and North Sea Kraken was the big bomb that deals direct damage. Karazhan gave us Moat Lurker, which is often a glorified frost elemental. Zubat and Menagerie Magician offer interesting buffs, but they're both understated. It's interesting to note that you should be killing beasts and murlocs more often now due to the potential swing Zubat can offer. Boomsday introduced Steel Rager and Spark Drill that both dealt 5 damage. Judging from the list of removals, it's clear that mid-sized minions with more than 5 health will do better in this new meta. At 4 mana, a 3/6 worth of stats will be the best pile of stats you can drop on turn 4. Similarly, for early game minions, you want to avoid 2 health, as Argent Horse Rider, Spring Rocket, and Hench Clan Hogsteed will remain in the new meta. In terms of poisonous minions, once again, there simply aren't any. Emperor Cobra remains the only poisonous minion, and it can easily be dealt with. Taunts have also declined. The current meta has a variety of taunts in the mid-game that saw tons of play. In the new rotation, we'll have Annoyotron, Damaged Stegotron, Evil Heckler, and Omega Defender. There are other lower quality mechs such as Bronze Gatekeeper, Arcane Nullifier X21, and Rusty Recycler, which also provide taunt. The meta will be really interesting to see if mech synergy can consistently be pulled off. How about an Arcane Nullifier into War Gear, a Clockwork Knight buffing a Mechanical Yeti? However, if the synergy isn't consistent, the quality of these taunts are simply worse than before. Of all the cards we've seen, including class cards, the meta may speed up even further. Paladin, for example, received a major tempo boost with Muster for Battle coming back, while Mage will only have Shooting Star to fight off the early game board. Druid and Priest are two other classes that can easily snowball out of control early on. Added to this, just about every class can snowball early with mech synergy. It'll be very interesting to see if control classes such as Mage, Shaman, and Priest can hold off this aggression. These three classes will still have access to board clears, while other classes will struggle for answers. Mages will have access to Fireland's Portal, but it's very likely to be placed in the top bucket. This means it'll be compared with Fireball, Polymorph, and Flame Strike. The new meta will largely depend on the power level of Mage. Historically, it's always been a strong class, and it reached a peak in the Firelands era. And let's not forget about Conjurer's Calling, which is easily one of the strongest cards in Arena right now. Calling will have decent synergy with the 5-drops coming out of Firelands and a bunch of bad 5-drops rotating out. The class tier list will be interesting to see after the rotation. We expect Paladin and Druid to rise and Warlock and Hunter to decline. Shaman will likely still have trouble dealing with a decent curve, and we don't see Warrior rising out of the bottom tier. Priest and Rogue will likely remain in their respective ranks, and Mage might just come out as the best class after rotation. We are very excited to see where each class will end up. We hope a rebucketing will happen with the rotation. Current powerful Rise of Shadow cards are seen way too frequently, which suggests they're underbucketed. Eccentric Scribe, Dalaran Crusader, and Burly Shovelfist are major culprits for neutral minions. For class cards, we have Conjurer's Calling, Messenger Raven, Bronze Herald, Evil Genius, and Marked Shot. These cards are seen so frequently, you can expect an average deck to have multiple copies of each. The bucket system is created to have interesting choices. If every deck is drafting the same cards, the experience can quickly become monotonous. Rotating sets will make Arena fresher, but rebucketing needs to be an ongoing effort. This wraps up our analysis on the new rotating set. What are you looking forward to trying out? What synergies have you identified? Leave a comment below, and as always, like and subscribe for more quality Hearthstone content. See you all next time!